तीन महामंत्र। त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्षप्रदायिनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। श्री गणेश मंत्र। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री गणेश साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
जय श्री माता जी। दोनों हाथ माँ के सामने हृदय में श्री माता जी को नमन करेंगे। श्री माता जी की छवि को अपने सेंटर हृदय पर स्थिर करेंगे। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपा करके हम सभी के हृदय को अपने रहने के योग्य बनाइए। श्री माता जी, हम सबको क्षमा कर दीजिए, हम सभी अज्ञानी हैं। श्री माता जी, हमारे इस हृदय को और पावन कीजिए ताकि आप यहाँ आ सकें। माँ की छवि को सेंटर हृदय पे निरंतर देखते हुए धीरे धीरे अपने संपूर्ण चित्त को दोनों हाथों पे, दोनों हाथों को देखते हुए माँ से प्रार्थना, श्री माता जी कृपा करके हमारे दोनों हाथों की ओर देखिए। धीरे धीरे अपने संपूर्ण चित्त को सेंटर मूलाधार। सेंटर मूलाधार को अपने चित्त को वहाँ स्थिर करेंगे। शिव माता जी, आप ही तो श्री गौरी और गणेश हैं। कृपा करके हमारे अंदर श्री गणेश जी की निर्भयता दीजिए। शिव माता जी, हमारे अबोधिता और पवित्रता की रक्षा कीजिए। धीरे धीरे अपने संपूर्ण चित्त को सेंटर स्वाधिष्ठान, सेंटर नाभि, पूरा भवसागर, सेंटर हृदय, सेंटर विशुद्धि, फ्रंट आज्ञा। फ्रंट आज्ञा पर श्री निर्विचारिता मंत्र। ओम त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री निर्विचारिता साक्षात् श्री आदि शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। बैक आज्ञा। सहस्त्रार। सहस्त्रार पर एक चित्र रहेगा, एक चित्र सेंटर मूलाधार, दोनों जगह एक साथ। सहस्त्रार से सेंटर मूलाधार, अब अपने संपूर्ण चित्त को सहस्त्रार पर रख के अमृतवाणी सुनेंगे।
I bow to all the seekers of truth. But we must know what is the truth. Whatever we think is truth may not be the truth. Whatever we know through our mental projection or emotional projection may not be the truth. But if truth has to be known, it has to be known through our living evolutionary process. It should be known on our central nervous system. Like in the evolutionary state, we have achieved everything and is felt on our central nervous system. Truth is meant only for honest seekers and those who are courageous enough to take up truth upon themselves. As human beings, we have many conditionings and we have a lot of ego within us. And when one starts talking about truth, people want it exactly to be the way they know it. But truth is not mental observation or understanding, but it is an experience of your being itself. And that is what we all should seek. Now, whatever I am going to tell you or Gregor has told you about is the knowledge of the roots. And as scientists, you must keep your mind open, and if it is proved, then you have to accept the truth. But you should not just deny it because so far you have not known it. Now, when we move with this idea, we have to know that the West had such a development all over. People are affluent, and as far as their material side is concerned, they are quite satisfied. I hope so. But despite all that, there are so many people who are feeling that there must be something that is beyond, because they feel they have not reached the stage of satisfaction. Economics says that wants in particular are satiable, but not in general. For example, you want to have a house, you will have a house, but then you will have another urge to have a car, then you will have another urge to have something else. That means whatever desire you have had was not the true desire. Otherwise, when you achieved it, you should have been extremely satisfied. So what is the true desire within us? The power of that true desire is this Kundalini, which is lying within us in 3.5 coil at the sacrum bone. I have read many books, even written by Germans, about Kundalini. But from outside you cannot know about anything. You have to become something to know about Kundalini. So this true desire is actually the desire of the divine. And the true desire is only one, that you have to become the divine. Now, become divine is different from talking about divine. To become divine means all the qualities of divinity must manifest through you. You must have heard many people saying that very religious we are, we go to church, we go to temple, we do all these things, and we are very religious. But you find there is no religion within them. They are horrible people. And it is difficult for people to understand such people who talk of God and talk of all higher things and sublime things, and in their own practical life you do not find anything great about them. As a result of that, people are now thinking that, is there anything like divinity, or we all are only up to the stage of human beings and we are going to live up to the stage of human beings? I say there is a great stage which you have to achieve. This ascent of man is built in the personality. As a little primule is built in the seed, in the same way in you that is built in that you should achieve that greater height. But there are many shops in the market talking about Kundalini. And they are very good advertising and all that, so we get enamored by that. But you cannot shop it. Even if you want, you may not get it. It is not that everybody deserves it. So to think that by paying some money or by becoming somebody's disciple or following certain theories you will achieve it is all falsehood. The Kundalini is a spontaneous thing. Awakening of it takes place only under certain circumstances. For example, if the seed is not all right, if the soil is not all right, if there is no proper water given to that seed, you cannot see the seed sprouting. But the seed sprouts spontaneously. You cannot pay for it. If the seed is about all right, and if the soil is all right, the Mother Earth has a capacity to achieve that result. But as a result of this awakening, what happens to us? First, the Kundalini has to pierce through your fontanelle bone area actually. It is the actualization, is the happening that is truly happening that is important. That means when the Kundalini comes out your fontanelle bone area, you start feeling a cool breeze coming out of your head. Now when this cool breeze starts coming out of your head, from where does it come? There are many people who think that by jumping about or standing on your heads or being some sort of an acrobat or changing your dress, you can go to God. But can you take out a cool breeze out of your head to begin with? Now, so once it comes out, you will be amazed that you start feeling the cool breeze flowing through your hands also. And all around you, you start feeling that cool breeze everywhere. And when you look at the sun or the sunshine, you find small little comma-like thing like Chaitanya is called, the all-pervading power. This all-pervading power is the power of love, of divine love, sublime love, not carnal or flesh love that takes you down towards hell and to diseases. Now when the cool breeze starts coming out of your hands, you feel absolutely relaxed. I met a gentleman who was very jittery and was very nervous type. And I asked him, what do you do? He said, I'm doing courses in relaxation. But I said, you are not relaxed, what do you do? So he said, I go on suggesting myself, relax, 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 and I relax. Now supposing I tell myself I am the mayor of Munich, do I become? Is your central nervous system is under your control that you say relax, so it relaxes? On the contrary, your mind works on one side and your body works on another side. There is no integration at all. I have seen people who at the slightest get into such a terrible temper, they know they have to control, they have heated faces, they don't know how to control themselves. And poor things, they feel very apologetic about it. So how do you control your anger? By telling, don't get angry, you'll get much more angry. Like I have seen some people say we should not talk because when we talk we are very angry. So they stop talking at all. They would say for a month I am not going to talk, all right. And after a month they started hitting everybody. So how can you discipline yourself without having a full control over your sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, and your another very important is the sympathetic nervous system. Now the one who controls all these autonomous nervous system is the auto. We say automobile, means somebody drives it. But who is this auto which drives these systems, because we are not in control of it. So the one who is the driver has nothing to do with the owner of the car. And the car goes in its own way and you don't know why it is going that way. I don't want it to go that way, but it's just moving the other way down. And then the anger starts coming on ourselves that we really say, what's this nonsense? Why can't I be all right? And a vicious circle starts that we start feeling guilty about everything. We are very guilty, we are very guilty. Even to feel guilty itself is dangerous. Then you will say, Mother, what should we do? So I'll have to explain what we are inside. Then it will be easy for you to understand why we cannot control ourselves. You can see here, there are 3 lines are shown. One on the left, one on the right, one in the center. The left side one represents the power of desire within us and is the psyche as Freud has described. But Freud was very half-baked, so I don't know what he means by that, very confused person. Thanks to him, in America now people are suffering from AIDS. Like a blind leading blind, people have dashed into such horrible conditions that I don't know what's going to happen. And many people who have taken a cue from him think that if you play upon the weaknesses of people, then you can entice them. But your weaknesses are not going to make you strong. You must have that power by which you are not slave of any weakness or any habit. You are on top of everything. Now the left-hand side of the power of desire is also related to our past and our conditionings. In the gross, it expresses itself as the left sympathetic nervous system. And so the past is there, and then the present past, and the past, and the collective past beyond that. Those people who think too much about the past, repent about it, or thrive on it, or all the time living with the past or with the dead, are driven into this area called as collective subconscious. Now many fake people are doing that, is to entice, mesmerize and put you into this collective subconscious, which is the dead. Recently I saw a very good film by some doctors who had researched it, and they said that a person who is vulnerable to cancer is attacked by some proteins called 58 protein 52, because they only give names. And these proteins attack a person and they are the ones who trigger cancer. So those people who go too much to the left means all the time weep, cry and feel that they are good for nothing or indulge into all kinds of perverted sexologies, they get into trouble with this. And to suffer from cancer is having hell in your life. There are many other diseases when you go to the left, is like mellitus and Parkinson's and epileptic, and all these things come from the same problem. If you feel guilty very much, then a center here on the left Vishuddhi, as we call it, gets caught up. Then one suffers from a disease called angina and such diseases which give you spondylitis and other imbalances of the left side. So when you try to be very efficient, work very hard and you exert yourself very much, then you work on the right side. All futuristic people are right-sided. Actually the past is finished and future doesn't exist. You have to be in the present, and present is the reality. But the thought comes to us and then passes on, then another thought comes to us and passes on, and that's how we are living on the cusp of the past or the future. That's how our mind is all the time spinning thoughts which are useless and exhausting. Now on the right hand side, when you go to the extreme, you go to the supraconscious and then to the collective supraconscious. Collective supraconscious can give you powers to entice a complete race to do something wrong. Collective supraconscious can give you hallucinations and you start seeing things of light and all that. And a person can become extremely egoistical and so much devoid of feeling that he can kill any number of people. So at the extreme of the left you become a masochist, and to the extreme of the right you become a sadist without knowing that you are that. So we have to be in the center and not to go to extremes. Now the central path is represented by parasympathetic within our system. This is the ascending path for our awareness. On the left, so we have what we call the collective subconscious. On the right we have the collective supraconscious, and on top we have superconsciousness, which we have to achieve, while at our feet is the hell, which is built, I think, by people like Freud. Now to become superconscious, we have to realize that we have to become the spirit, which is the auto within us. Germans make very good cars, so I'll give an analogy of a car. Say in a car, we have got a brake and an accelerator. Now the left side is the brake and the right side is the accelerator. And the driver is the spirit. Now the driver is a person, personality. I is the driver. Now when you go too much to the left, you cannot move. Supposing you have all the time brake, the car will not move. And when you have too much of acceleration, God knows what will happen. I saw recently a vehicle which runs for 250 kilometers. I got a fright of my life. I said, where are they running with so fast? So this kind of a accelerator, if you have all the time and no brake, God knows what is going to happen to this world. Already we are on the way of destruction. So when a new driver starts learning, he first of all puts the brake, sometimes he puts jerkily the accelerator, and he learns that he's making mistakes, and then he comes to a balance. That is what it should be, that we should have a balanced life. In our day-to-day life, we live on balance. We cannot have a car with only 2 wheels on one side. We have to have 4 wheels on both the sides. So we live in imbalances. And any kind of imbalance can give you physical, mental or emotional problems of a very serious nature. Now when this driver learns how to drive, then the owner, who is the spirit, just becomes the driver, or we can say the driver becomes the owner. And when the driver becomes the owner, he sees the driver within himself, that is the parasympathetic, and the left sympathetic and the right sympathetic, and he sits comfortably not bothered about it. Now he becomes the master of the driver, of the brake and of the accelerator. In the same way, first balance has to be established in our lives, and that's how many prophets came on this earth to tell us that we must have balance. But then an intellectual like a little child will ask why. The balance has to be there for us to ascend. And that's what Christ's message was, his resurrection, that we must ascend. In the tradition of spirituality, all these great prophets and incarnation like Rama, Krishna and Christ all came on this earth, Buddha, Mahavira, just to take us in the right line for our ascent. But another capacity human beings have to make a mess of everything. And such a quarreling stuff it is to talk about these people. So now the time is a special time which is called as the blossom time. You have been seekers of ages, not of today. This blossom time has come, and that's how mass realization has to take place, and it is taking place all over the world. You get it in your right, this ascent. But by this ascent you feel your wholesomeness. The first thing that happens to you, that you become, again I say become collectively conscious. That you can start feeling your own centers and centers of other people. on your fingertips. Muhammad Sahib has said clearly, at the time of resurrection, your hands will speak. It's not difficult to talk to Indian people who have any Indian background that they know all this. I don't have to explain much to them about Sahaja Yoga. But westernized Indians are like I would say, neo sort of people who just want to overdo everything that you have done, like they like now the plastics and things like that, nylons. They have to still go through all that vicious circle, and then they'll become hippies and all that, and they'll come to Sahaja Yoga. But you are seekers, and seekers of truth, which is described by a great poet, William Blake, in England about 200 years back, that the men of God will become prophets and they will have powers to make others prophets. This is the criteria by which you should judge that you have become the spirit, if you have the power to make others prophets. But what does the prophet do? Prophet is a higher being who has achieved his ascent into a new dimension of collective consciousness. He becomes a witness of the whole game. He doesn't get disturbed. He sees the whole game going on like a play. He's a powerful person because he's not afraid of anyone, and he can only talk of truth. He can never compromise on that. Because you have seen people compromising all the time, you cannot believe what sort of personalities these are. They are not realized souls, so forgive them. But this power is that of compassion which just flows, emits. It doesn't say anything, it just works. Such a person achieves his innocence. His eyes become innocent. Even a glance of such a person can change the lives of people and can bring peace in their lives. Such a person is above temptations and cruelties. It's such a great personality. You have heard about, say, Mahatma Gandhi, and all these people were realized souls. In your country itself, Mozart was a realized soul. Your Queen Maria Teresa was a realized soul. But how will you know whether they were realized or not? 2 Indians who came with me, who are realized souls, went down to the castle of Maria Teresa and came back and told me, Mother, was she a realized soul? I said, how do you know? They said, tremendous vibrations from her photograph, from her statue were coming. But not only that you reach your wholesomeness, but you become absolute. You know the absolute. There is no compromise. Even a little child of 5 years who is a realized soul is on the point of absolute. My grandchild, she was only 5 years of age when her parents went to Ladakh, and my daughter and son-in-law were not realized souls, but she was born realized. And when she saw these people all touching the feet of a lama, she couldn't bear it when her parents also touched the feet of this lama. At that small age, she put her hands back and looked at him and said, what do you mean by making everybody touch your feet? You are not even a realized soul. With these vibrations, we can ask all fundamental questions. The way the church has been, the way all the religions have been, everybody has been such money makers that people have lost faith in church, but God exists. You can ask a fundamental question when you are realized, is there God? And tremendous vibrations come to you. There was a big controversy recently on a book written by someone who was an intellectual, that Paul has denied all the miracles of Christ, even his Immaculate Conception. But anybody who is a realized soul will know that Paul had nothing to do with Christ. To me, he's a strange man. Khalil Gibran has written about it in a book. He said that this strange man, Paul, I can't understand. Why does he talk of Christ? He's not sure of what he's talking. He had a supraconscious experience and he was epileptic and an intellectual. And he tried to dominate Peter, who was really the disciple of Christ. He gave a very wrong idea about the disciples also. When the Holy Ghost descended on the disciples, they started feeling the cool breeze on their hands, and they started speaking the language of the centers, and also they started moving their hands because hands have got the power. But to say they started speaking German or English is wrong. Or in the Bible it is also written that they looked like mad people. In a madhouse, a sane man always looks mad. So these disciples, whatever they have written is the truth. But now you can prove it through your vibrations. You can ask the vibrations, was Christ an immaculate conception? You can ask about Buddha, you can ask about Mahavira, about any one of them, what they were, and you'll be amazed that they were all true people. Later on in the Kundalini, when you rise higher, you will know where they stand within us as milestones of our evolution. They are all in complete concord and congenial, and they are absolutely in rapport with each other. There is no problem between them. We, in our ignorance, have plucked these flowers who came on the tree of life, and now we are saying this is mine, and that is all dead. But they are all living beings within us, settled in different centers, and we have to just awaken them through the ascent of the Kundalini. And unless and until this has happened, we cannot explain them. Because we have to have the light to see the truth. When we get the light, if there's a snake, we think it to be a rope, then we just leave it. And when there is a rope and we think it to be snake, we catch hold of it. So when you become the spirit, the light of the spirit comes into our attention. Sitting down here, you can feel the vibrations of anyone. Like the ether has a subtler side which acts. For the divine power is the subtler side of ether, you can say. It is the subtler side of the vibratory movement in the atoms. We have to become subtler. If we become that, we can handle it ourselves. That is what one has to achieve. But with this, a person becomes extremely peaceful within and without. He feels united with everyone. Everybody is a part and parcel of himself. For example, if there's a problem on my one finger and I rub it, there's no obligation, there's nothing to be paid, I jolly well have to do it, it's a part and parcel of me. So who is the other? When you are part and parcel, then who is the other? If you do something for someone, it is just automatic, spontaneous, and so life-giving and joy-giving. But to understand the roots or to understand the tree, you cannot enter into it from outside. If you want to treat a leaf of a tree, you have to get into the sap. So the spirit has to be brought into our conscious mind. You become a complete knowledge. When I met Gregor, he was a great seeker, she was a great seeker, so many were great seekers, but they had no knowledge. Actually, I never talked to them about Sahaja Yoga. I said, first get your realization. Supposing you have to put the light on, what I would say that, all right, press the button. You press the button and you get the light. But there is a big mechanism behind it and a very big history for this electricity. So Sahaja Yoga has a tremendous traditional history, and also it has a mechanism which works it out, but is so well done and such a fine mechanism that it doesn't fail like German things. Germans are very good with their hands, with machinery. But now you have to learn about the machinery within and have to become experts of that. Once the Germans get it, I am sure this world can be saved. I was talking to the gentleman who was trying to organize. He said, but they're very obstinate, mother, they're very obstinate. But I said, there must be some good points. He said, there's one very big point that is they love their children and they're childlike in this respect. They have to think of their children. They have to think of their progeny. They have to give them a great name that their parents were saints and they are the first pioneers of saintliness. That is how I'm here, though I did not have this in my plans. Suddenly I felt the vibrations of Munich and I said, I'm going to Munich. And you'll be surprised. Suddenly I found that on my ticket it was written that I could go up to Munich free of charge. This knowledge is like ocean, which you will know later on. And I can go on talking like this. I've given thousands and thousands of lectures all over. Now I have to make a humble request that whatever I could say in this short period, I have tried to say that you should not anymore think about it, but get it. May God bless you all. So if you have, anybody has to leave, should leave first and then ask me questions, so that will be sensible. So if you have to ask any questions, you can ask, but after that you cannot go. It will take about 15 minutes at the most to get your realization. You can come forward, those people who are behind. One thing I want to tell you, that there is no fear of any kind, nothing goes wrong with you when the Kundalini rises. Those who have no deftness, those who have no empowerment, if they try to raise the Kundalini, they create a problem. But Kundalini is your mother, individual mother. How can she harm you? Let them settle down. You have to be comfortable. It's a very simple thing. As I told you, that in your hands you have to receive the message. These are 5 and 6 and 7 centers as shown there, which are sympathetic centers within us, and they receive the message. These are the same centers are repeated, but they are separated before realization. They receive the message, and the message goes to the Kundalini, and she rises spontaneously. So that's very easy. But you have to cleanse also and cooperate with your chakras, which is very important and which is very simple, which you can do with the right hand, and with the left hand you should put it on your lap and sit comfortably, left hand. Before that, a time waste it is. You want to ask questions? It's a waste of time. Let us have it. It's unnecessary. By asking questions, nobody gets realization, nor explaining. You can write to me, all right? If you are not very angry. That means you have that diamond within you. When I say you have that precious diamond within you, what is there to ask questions? Better get it. You don't have to pay anything, you don't have to do anything, just to get it what you have. So I would request you to put your left hand on your lap like this, in a very comfortable manner, because this is the power of desire. And with the right hand, we have to do certain actions, like on the heart where the spirit resides, then on the upper part of the abdomen, and there in the lower part of the abdomen. And right hand, you must put it in different chakras, as I said, the heart, the upper abdomen, the lower abdomen, and here from the front, here, 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 and ultimately here. You tell them about this one is difficult for them. Now, at the very outset, I can see that there is one problem with all of you, and that you feel guilty for nothing at all. Actually, it is a pain in the neck for me also. In the collective consciousness, I can feel the terrible pain here, which you all have suffered. So at the very outset, you should say to yourself, I am not guilty at all. Guilty for anything, for your forefathers or for your children or for yourself. So you must forgive yourself to begin with. After all, you are the temple of God. And how can you be guilty? At the present moment, forget the past. And if you can do that much, I can assure you, it will work it out. It's a very pleasant thing you are doing, it's a very cheerful thing. So you need not be very serious also. Not to be worried whether it will happen or not. It will happen. Just don't condemn yourself, please, because you are prophets. You have to respect and love yourself, as I do. May God bless you. Now let's start it. Put the left hand like this and close your eyes. Before closing your eyes, I hope you have taken out your shoes. Shoes are a little bit hindrance from the Mother Earth, so we have to use the Mother Earth a little bit.
This is good.
So if you could take out shoes, it will help. Now, you put your left hand on your heart. Remove your spectacles and all that, because it may help your eyesight as well. Put your left hand towards me, please, and right hand on your heart and close your eyes. Now, please don't open your eyes till I tell you, because the Kundalini may refuse to rise in some people if your eyes are open. Just keep them closed in a very gentle way. Now, without disturbing anybody, just put your right hand on your heart and you have to ask me a question with full confidence in yourself. You can call me Shri Mataji or Mother, whatever you like. To say, Mother, am I the spirit? Ask this question 3 times, please. Ask this question 3 times. Now, put this right hand down on the left side of your abdomen in the upper part. At this point, logically you must ask the second question, that if you are the spirit, you become your own master. So please ask the second question, Mother, am I my own master? Do not go with a speed, with deliberations and with deeper feeling. Please ask this question. It is. Everything should be done with the heart in it, with a depth in it. Now, take your hand down onto the lower part of the abdomen, on the left hand side, please. Now, at this point, I must confess that I cannot cross your freedom. And you have to say that you want to know the true knowledge. This is the center which gives you the technique of the true knowledge. So you have to say 6 times now, Mother, may I have the true knowledge, please? 6 times. Or I want to have true knowledge. Mother, please give me. Hmm. 6 times. Now, please raise your hand to the upper part of the abdomen on the left hand side, please. Now, as you have asked me for the true knowledge, I have to tell you that at this center you have to assert with full confidence that you are your own master. So please say 10 times. These are 10 valencies here and 10 subplexuses, 10 times. Please say with full confidence, Mother, I am my own master.
Say it, Mom.
आगे धरा आगे. Now please raise this hand higher onto your heart again and put the left hand towards me. Now at this point, please assert again with the full confidence and say 12 times, Mother, I am the Spirit, I am the Spirit, I am the Spirit. तुम्ही हाताने द्या नाही तर काढून. Good. Now please put your right hand on the base of your neck, on the shoulder, and hold it tight. The front.
Linkernacken van vorne.
Take the hand from the
Van vorne, ja. Und dort bitte
and hold
drücken.
it tight. Tell him how to do this gentleman. He is very good. At this point, you have to say 16 times, Mother, I am not guilty. But if you are still believe that you are guilty, you better say it 108 times to have punishment. It's better. Now, take this hand on your forehead across and press it hard. Right hand, left hand towards. Hold it tight. At this point, you have to say, Mother, I forgive everyone from your heart. But some of you might think that I cannot forgive, it is difficult. But logically it is mythical. When you do not forgive someone, what do? You are playing into the hands of other people and torturing yourself. Please forgive. Now take this hand at the back of your neck, head. Now I have to say that divine is the power which is the greatest ocean of forgiveness. So without feeling guilty, again I say without feeling guilty, again without feeling guilty, please say that if I have done anything wrong, O Lord, O Divine, please forgive me. Now put the hand on top of your head on the fontanelle bone area where you had a soft bone as a child and press it hard with your palm. Press it hard. At this point, I again cannot cross your freedom. Because this is the point where you get your realization. So you have to say yourself, Mother, I want my realization, please give me realization because I cannot cross your freedom. Now press it hard and move it clockwise, please. And say it 7 times. Move your scalp. Left hand towards me and right hand move it, your scalp. Hard, hard. Move your hand down, right hand. Now put your left hand up, above the head. Now feel the cool breeze. Is it coming out?
Jetzt bitte.
Slowly by moving up and down. First maybe little hot may come, but doesn't matter. Now move your another hand and see. Just see if there's a cool breeze coming in. Again another hand, try. Up, say, up on top of your head. Now, put your hand up, open your eyes. Without thinking, put up your head. And ask a question 3 times. Is this the power of Brahma? Is this the all-pervading power of divine? Is this the power of the Holy Ghost? Now, put down your hands and see if you feel on your hands some cool breeze. Please do not think about it. You are beyond thinking. Try to increase that frequency of thoughtless awareness. See that? We have a good center here. It is all freely available for your future growth. You have to value yourself and you have to value your realization. Now a seed has just sprouted, but you have to grow into a tree. Those people who have felt the cool breeze either on the head or in the hands, please raise your hands. Practically all of you have felt it. May God bless you. May God bless you. This is your own, you got it. Those who haven't got it also can get it, there's no problem. And should contact the people who are here, who have come all the way from Australia. Now first thing, don't think about it. You cannot think. It is a spontaneous living happening. Do not discuss it and argue it. You just feel it. Now I have to confess that those people who come first to Sahaja Yoga are like a peripheral entry. Then gradually they come to know more and more and grow into the inner circles where you get higher knowledge about. But in the beginning, we do not tell you everything because one should have power to bear the truth. There are books written about Sahaja Yoga, but we do not give to people who have not achieved a certain state of awareness. Please do not be obstinate. This is the knowledge of the roots. It is available to everyone.
Yeah.
So these people have been in Sahaja Yoga for 3-4 years, that's why they now know everything. If they tell you anything, listen to them. Then tomorrow you will become great prophets yourself. There is one farmer in the state of Maharashtra in India who has given realization to 10,000 people. The mother is the happiest when she gives all her powers to her children. That is the greatest day when you will get all my powers to yourself. I'll be going back to London, but next time I'll definitely come to Munich for 3 days. But please try to grow into it. Just don't run away from reality. Somebody told me that unless and until you take money from the Anglo-Saxon group of people, they can never stick to anything. But it is so invaluable. What can you pay for it? I asked him a straight question, how much did you pay to Christ? And then he kept quiet. That is what it is. You cannot pay for it. It is your own. You have to just respect it and achieve it. As in Sanskrit said, Uttishtat, Jagrut Prapya. Uttishtat means get up, awaken and get it. And this has a special significance with this yuga, which is Krita Yuga now. In this Krita Yuga, it is to be completed. May God bless you.